What if your arteries are slowly narrowing right now? Long before obvious warning signs ever appear. Why does climbing stairs suddenly leave you more winded than it used to? Or a simple trip through the grocery store feels strangely exhausting halfway through? Many people over 60 assume this is just part of aging. But sometimes the body is quietly struggling to move blood and oxygen as efficiently as it once did. And the scary part is that artery problems often build silently for years before anything serious happens. Some people first notice it in small ways: colder feet at night, needing to sit down more often, feeling drained after basic chores, or walking into a room and forgetting why they went there. In many cases, these changes appear so gradually that they feel normal. But certain everyday foods may quietly add more stress to aging blood vessels every single day, including some foods millions of seniors still believe are healthy. One of the worst foods for aging arteries may already be sitting on the breakfast table right now. Foods like bacon, sausage, processed deli meat, and other packaged breakfast meats feel comforting, filling, and familiar, especially after 60. But many seniors never realize these foods may slowly place extra strain on blood vessels that are already becoming less flexible with age. And because the damage builds gradually, the warning signs are often easy to ignore at first. Some people simply notice they get tired faster during the day, need to stop and rest more often, or suddenly feel winded doing small tasks that never used to feel difficult. Others notice colder feet at night or heavier legs after walking. What makes this especially dangerous is that many people never connect these small changes to circulation at all. And the next food may be even more concerning, because millions of people eat it every day believing it's helping their heart. The next food catches many seniors completely off guard because it's often marketed as a healthy choice for the heart. Flavored low-fat yogurts, snack bars, and certain fat-free treats may sound smart on the surface, but many contain surprisingly high amounts of added sugar. And after 60, the body often handles sugar very differently than it did years ago. Some people notice they feel sluggish after breakfast, sleepy in the afternoon, or mentally foggy just a few hours after eating without realizing blood sugar swings may be playing a role. What makes this especially misleading is that many of these products are specifically designed to look healthy. In some cases, foods labeled low-fat may affect the body more like dessert than real nutrition. And over time, repeated sugar spikes may place extra stress on aging blood vessels already struggling to stay flexible. But another everyday food hiding in many kitchens may be causing even more silent artery stress without people ever suspecting it. One of the most deceptive foods for aging arteries may actually come in a bottle labeled 100% fruit juice. Many seniors pour a glass every morning believing they're making a heart-healthy choice, without realizing some store-bought juices can spike blood sugar surprisingly fast, especially first thing in the morning. And after 60, the body often struggles to handle those repeated sugar surges the same way it once did. Some people begin noticing they feel sleepy not long after breakfast, shaky before lunch, or constantly craving snacks later in the day without understanding what may be driving it. What makes this especially concerning is that the habit feels healthy, refreshing, and completely harmless. But over time, repeated sugar spikes may quietly stress aging blood vessels already becoming less flexible with age. And the next food may be even more damaging, because it's part of the daily routine in millions of homes. The next food becomes especially dangerous because it feels so normal that most people stopped questioning it years ago. White bread, pastries, sugary cereals, crackers, and packaged baked snacks are part of everyday life in millions of homes. But after 60, the body often reacts very differently to heavily processed carbohydrates. Some people find themselves hungry again not long after eating, reaching for snacks all day, crashing in the afternoon, or struggling with stubborn belly weight that seems impossible to lose no matter what they try. Others feel caught in a frustrating cycle of eating, feeling tired, craving more sugar, and repeating the pattern again a few hours later. What many seniors never realize is that these repeated blood sugar swings may quietly place extra stress on aging blood vessels over time. And the final food on this list may be the most damaging of all because convenience makes the danger easy to ignore. The final food may be one of the biggest hidden threats to aging arteries because so many seniors rely on it simply to make daily life easier. Frozen dinners, packaged microwave meals, fast food takeout, and ultra-processed ready-to-eat foods often become routine because they're quick, comforting, and require very little energy to prepare. But over time, these convenience foods may quietly place extra stress on blood vessels already becoming less flexible with age. And the danger is usually not one meal by itself. It's the years of repeated exposure that slowly build inside the body without obvious warning signs at first. Some people gradually begin feeling weaker, slower, more exhausted, or less physically capable than they remember just a few years earlier. Others notice swollen feet, heavier legs, poor stamina, or needing more recovery after simple daily activities. What makes this especially dangerous is how normal the habit feels while the body slowly adapts to the damage. And by the time many people finally notice serious circulation problems, the buildup may have already been happening quietly for years. After going through these foods, you might start noticing something important, and it's a question most people over 60 quietly ask themselves at some point. Are my arteries actually okay right now? Because the truth is, when circulation begins to change, it rarely starts with dramatic warning signs. It starts small and easy to ignore. Maybe you felt unusually tired after doing something simple, like walking across the house or finishing basic chores. Maybe you've needed more time to recover after activity than you used to. Some people notice brief moments of lightheadedness when standing up too quickly, or hands and feet feeling colder than expected even indoors. Others simply feel that their energy, stamina, or lightness in the body isn't quite the same anymore. And the most important part is this: many people assume these changes are just normal aging, but sometimes they reflect how efficiently blood is moving through the body. What makes this especially concerning is that by the time stronger or more obvious symptoms appear, the underlying changes may already have been building quietly for years without being noticed. Now the important question becomes, what can actually help support healthier circulation without making your daily life complicated? Because the encouraging truth is that the body doesn't suddenly stop responding after 60. It often still reacts to consistent, simple habits more than people realize. Even small daily actions like staying properly hydrated throughout the day, taking short, gentle walks instead of staying seated for long periods, and gradually reducing heavily processed foods in favor of more natural options may help support better blood flow over time. These changes don't need to be extreme to matter. What often makes the biggest difference is consistency, not intensity. Foods that contain natural fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats are often associated with better heart and vessel support, because they may help the body manage inflammation more effectively and maintain smoother circulation. And even though these changes sound simple, many people are surprised that they start noticing differences in energy, lightness, and overall comfort over time. But before we end, there's something important about arteries that most people only fully understand when it's already too late. And before we finish, there's something important you really need to understand, because artery problems rarely appear suddenly. In most cases, they develop quietly over many years through small daily habits that don't feel harmful at the time. That's why two people can live very different routines after 60 and still feel completely fine for a while, until one day the body begins showing changes that can no longer be ignored. And what makes this especially important is that it's rarely one moment that causes the problem. It's the long pattern that builds silently over time without obvious warning. The real takeaway is not fear, but awareness, because your arteries are constantly responding to what you do every day, even in small ways you might not think about. And often, the biggest difference between healthy circulation and hidden decline is not one major decision, but the small habits repeated so consistently that they slowly become normal without you noticing.